वंदे भारत एक्सप्रेस का स्वागत है। This train is from Varanasi Junction to New Delhi. यह ट्रेन वाराणसी जंक्शन
Civil lines. Cannington, neighborhood of Prayāgrāj. Nickname White Town 1, 2. City Prayagraj. Country India. Built in 1857. Founded by Cuthbert Bensley Thornhill. Government. Times Type Mayor Council Government. Times Body Prayagraj Municipal Corporation. Civil lines, formerly Cannington. 3. Also Canning Town. 4. Is a civil lines neighborhood of Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh, India. It is the upper-class central business district of the city and is famous for its urban setting, gridiron plan roads, 5. High-rise buildings, offices, cafes, restaurants, hotels, malls, shopping complexes, theatres, etc. Built in 1857, under the supervision of Cuthbert Bensley Thornhill, it was the largest town planning project carried out in India before the establishment of New Delhi. Prayagraj, Prayagrāj, also known as Allahabad, is a metropolis in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. 7. 8. It is the administrative headquarters of the Prayagraj district, the most populous district in the state and 13th most populous district in India, and the Prayagraj division. The city is the judicial capital of Uttar Pradesh, with the Allahabad High Court being the highest judicial body in the state. As of 2011, Prayagraj is the 7th most populous city in the state, 13th in northern India and 36th in India, with an estimated population of 1.53 million in the city. 9. 10. In 2011, it was ranked the world's 40th fastest growing city. 11. 12. The city, in 2016, was also ranked the 3rd most livable urban agglomeration in the state, after Noida and Lucknow, and 16th in the country. 13. Hindi is the most widely spoken language in the city. Prayagraj lies close to Triveni Sangam, the three-river confluence of the Ganges, Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati. 1. It plays a central role in Hindu scriptures. The city finds its earliest reference as one of the world's oldest known cities in Hindu texts and has been venerated as the holy city of Prayāgrāj in the ancient Vedas. Prayagraj was also known as Kosambi in the late Vedic period, named by the Kuru rulers of Hastinapur, who developed it as their capital. Kosambi was one of the greatest cities in India from the late Vedic period until the end of the Maurya Empire, with occupation continuing until the Gupta Empire. Since then, the city has been a political, cultural and administrative center of the Doab region. Akbarnama mentions that the Mughal Emperor Akbar founded a great city in Allahabad. Abd al-Qadir Badayuni and Nizamuddin Ahmad mentioned that Akbar laid the foundations of an imperial city there which was called Allahabad or Allahabad. 14. 15. In the early 17th century, Allahabad was a provincial capital in the Mughal Empire under the reign of Jahangir. 16. In 1833, it became the seat of the ceded and conquered provinces region before its capital was moved to Agra in 1835. 17. Better source needed. Allahabad became the capital of the northwestern provinces in 1858 and was the capital of India for a day. 18. The city was the capital of the United Provinces from 1902, 18 to 1920, 19, and remained at the forefront of national importance during the struggle for Indian independence. 20. Prayagraj is one of the international tourism destinations, securing the second position in terms of tourist arrivals in the state after Varanasi. 21. Located in southern Uttar Pradesh, the city covers 365 square kilometers, 141 sq mi. Although the city and its surrounding area are governed by several municipalities, a large portion of Prayagraj district is governed by the Prayagraj Municipal Corporation. The city is home to colleges, research institutions, and many central and state government offices, including High Court of Uttar Pradesh. Prayagraj has hosted cultural and sporting events, including the Magh Mela and the Indira Marathon. Although the city's economy was built on tourism, most of its income now derives from real estate and financial services. The location at the confluence of Ganges and Yamuna rivers has been known in ancient times as ʻpreɪə́ɡrɑːdʒ, which means place of a sacrifice in Sanskrit. Pra 4 plus y with ʻpreɪə́ɡrɑːdʒ to sacrifice. 23. It was believed that God Brahma performed the very first sacrifice, yaga, yajna, in this place. 24. 25. The word ʻpreɪə́ɡrɑः has been traditionally used to mean a confluence of rivers. For Allahabad, it denoted the physical meeting point of the rivers Ganges and Yamuna in the city. An ancient tradition has it that a third river, invisible Saraswati, also meets there with the two. Today, Triveni Sangam, or simply Sangam, is a more frequently used name for the confluence. Prayagraj, Sanskrit, ʻpreɪə́ɡrɑːdʒ, meaning the king among the 5 Prayagas, is used as a term of respect to indicate that this confluence is the most splendid one of the 5 sacred confluences in India. 26. It is said that the Mughal Emperor Akbar visited the region in 1575 and was so impressed by the strategic location of the site that he ordered a fort be constructed. The fort was constructed by 1584 and called Allahabad or Abode of Allah, later changed to Allahabad under Shah Jahan. Speculations regarding its name, however, exist. Because of the surrounding people calling it Allahabad, has led to some people who, holding the view that it was named after Allah from Allah's story. 27. James Fobb's account of the early 1800s claims that it was renamed Allahabad or Abode of God by Jahangir after he failed to destroy the Akshayavad tree. The name, however, predates him, with Allahabad and Allahabad mentioned on coins minted in the city since Akbar's rule. The latter name became predominant after the emperor's death. It has also been thought to not have been named after Allah but Ilaha, the gods. Shaligram Srivastav claimed in Prayag Pradeep that the name was deliberately given by Akbar to be construed as both Hindu, Ilaha, and Muslim, Allah. 15. Over the years, a number of attempts were made by the BJP-led governments of Uttar Pradesh to rename Allahabad to Prayagraj. In 1992, the planned rename was shelved when the Chief Minister, Kalyan Singh, was forced to resign following the Babri Masjid demolition. 2001 saw another attempt led by the government of Rajnath Singh which remained unfulfilled. 28. The rename finally succeeded in October 2018 when the Yogi Adityanath-led government officially changed the name of the city to Prayagraj. Antiquity. The earliest mention of ʻpreɪə́ɡrɑः and the associated pilgrimage is found in Rigveda Parya, supplement to the Rigveda, c. 1200 to 1000 BCE. 31. It is also mentioned in the Pali canons of Buddhism, such as in section 1.7 of Majjhima Nikaya, c. 500 BCE, wherein the Buddha states that bathing in ʻpreɪə́ɡrɑः, skt. Prayaga, cannot wash away cruel and evil deeds. Rather, the virtuous one should be pure in heart and fair in action. 32. The Mahabharata, c. 400 BCE, 300 CE, mentions a bathing pilgrimage at Prayag as a means of ʻpraɪə́, atonement, penance, for past mistakes and guilt. 33. In Tirthayatra Parva, before the Great War, the epic states the one who observes firm, ethical vows, having bathed at Prayaga during Magha, or best of the Bharatas, becomes spotless and reaches heaven. 34. In Anushasana Parva, after the war, the epic elaborates this bathing pilgrimage as geographical tirtha that must be combined with Mansa tirtha, tirtha of the heart, whereby one lives by values such as truth, charity, self-control, patience and others. 35. Prayāgrāj is mentioned in the Agni Purana and other Puranas with various legends, including being one of the places where Brahma attended a yajna, homa, and the confluence of river Ganges, Yamuna and mythical Saraswati site as the king of pilgrimage sites, Tirtharaj. 36. Other early accounts of the significance of Prayag to Hinduism is found in the various versions of the Prayaga Mahatmya, dated to the late 1st millennium CE. These Purana-genre Sanskrit texts describe Prayag as a place bustling with pilgrims, priests, vendors, beggars, guides and local citizens busy along the confluence of the rivers, Sangam. 37. 38. Prayaga is also mentioned in the Hindu epic Ramayana, a place with the legendary Buddhist Chinese traveler Xuanzang, Huanzang, in fascicle V of Datan XYG. Great Tan records on the western regions explicitly mentions Prayaga as both a country and a great city where the Yamuna river meets Ganges river. He states that the great city has hundreds of Deva temples, and to the south of the city are two Buddhist institutions, a stupa built by Ashoka and a monastery. His 644 CE memoir also mentions the Hindu bathing rituals at the junction of the rivers, where people fast near it and then bathe, believing that this washes away their sins. Wealthy people and kings come to this great city to give away alms at the grand place of almsgiving. According to Xuanzang's travelogue, the confluence is to the east of this great city and the site where alms are distributed every day. 51. Kama Maclean, an Indologist who has published articles on the Magh Mela predominantly based on the colonial archives and English language media, 52, states based on emails from other scholars and a more recent interpretation of the 7th century Xuanzang memoir, that Prayag was also an important site in 7th century India of a Buddhist festival. She states that Xuanzang festivities at Prayag featured a Buddha statue and involved almsgiving, consistent with Buddhist practices. 53. According to Lee Rongakshi, a scholar credited with a recent and complete translation of a critical version of the Datan XYG, Xuanzang mentions that the site of the almsgiving is a Deva temple, and the almsgiving practice is recommended by the records at this temple. Rongakshi adds that the population of Prayaga was predominantly heretics, non-Buddhists, Hindus, and affirms that Prayaga attracted festivities of Deva worshipping heretics and also the Orthodox Buddhists. 50. Xuanzang also describes a ritual suicide practice at Prayaga, then concludes it is absurd. He mentions a tree with evil spirits that stands before another Deva temple. People commit suicide by jumping from it in the belief that they will go to heaven. 50. According to Ariel Glucklich, a scholar of Hinduism and anthropology of religion, the Xuanzang memoir mentions both the superstitious devotional suicide and narrates a story of how a Brahmin of a more ancient era tried to put an end to this practice. 51. Alexander Cunningham believed the tree described by Xuanzang was the Akshayavad tree. It still existed at the time of Al-Biruni, who calls it as Prayaga, located at the confluence of Ganga and Yamuna. 54. The historic literature of Hinduism and Buddhism before the Mughal Emperor Akbar used the term Prayag and never used the term Allahabad or its variants. Its history before the Mughal Emperor Akbar is unclear. 55. In contrast to the account of Xuanzang, the Muslim historians place the tree at the confluence of the rivers. The historian Dr. D.B. Dubey states that it appears that between this period, the sandy plain was washed away by the Ganges, to an extent that the temple and tree seen by the Chinese traveler too was washed away, with the river later changing its course to the east and the confluence shifting to the place where Akbar laid the foundations of his fort. 56. Henry Mies Eliot believed that a town existed before Allahabad was founded. He He adds that after Mahmud of Ghazni captured Asni near Fatehpur, he couldn't have crossed into Bundelkhand without visiting Allahabad had there been a city worth plundering. He further adds that its capture should have been heard when Muhammad of Ghor captured Benares. However, Ghori's historians never noticed it. Akbarnama mentions that the Mughal Emperor Akbar founded a great city in Allahabad. Abd al-Qadir Barayuni and Nizamuddin Ahmad mentioned that Akbar laid the foundations of an imperial city there which he called Allahabad. 14.